Do you know that narcissists actually have regrets? They do. I know you don't think that they do, but they actually do. And I'm going to tell you what they are in this video, so stay tuned. Hey there, I'm Rebecca Zung, and I'm an attorney. I'm also a narcissist negotiation expert, and I've helped thousands of people in my SLAY programs and through my law practice. And I want to help you too through this channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I also have a free ebook for you if you'd like. It's my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet, which you can get at crushmydeal.com. And I would love for you to grab that. And let's dive in now to the 5 unspoken regrets of narcissists. They don't talk about it because they don't want you to know that they can be weak. But they can. They have regrets sometimes. They're not the same kinds of regrets that regular, reasonable people have. You know, regular, reasonable people can regret things like normal people have, but these are their own special kinds of regrets. And I'm going to talk about them today in this video. So you're going to want to watch all the way till the end because there's a special kind of regret that's only reserved for narcissists. And I'm going to be talking about at the end here. All right. So number 1, they regret that they can't love themselves more. I know. But this is actually, we should all be able to love ourselves in a certain way. Self love is a really important thing, but this is not a normal type of thing, right? With narcissists, they truly have no inner sense of value. That's what it really means to be a narcissist. They're just like a shell inside, it's an empty space. They feel truly empty inside, and that's so unfortunate. That's why they're constantly trying to layer on these feelings of external value from external sources, which we call narcissistic supply. But it's almost like a sieve inside, or there's just no way to catch that feeling, this empty black hole. And so, you're constantly trying to fill the black hole. They want you to fill it. So you're left feeling totally and utterly depleted. They're left still feeling empty. And, it's this endless cycle, unfortunately. I always say that they're sort of like the hollow chocolate Easter bunnies. They look very pretty on the outside, but inside there's nothing going on. And unfortunately, they really do regret being unable to love themselves more. They can fake it. They're very, very good at mirroring what's going on. They're very, very good at reading people. It's kind of a survival skill that they've developed since childhood. But deep down, they just don't feel worthy of that love. And, so you empaths out there, I see you out there, you think that you're going to be able to love them back to health, and you feel like you're going to be able to give them all this love. And it's interesting because I was actually talking to somebody yesterday who was interviewing me, and this person was talking about how she had been in a relationship with a narcissist, and she was like, well, I hadn't grown up with a whole lot of love in my life, or unconditional love, and I just thought, well, I don't need a whole lot. I can just give, and I won't need to get a whole lot in return. So I'll just give and give and give to this person, and it'll be okay. And I'll love this person back to health. And I'm going to prove to this person how much I love them. And it's so common with these empaths and narcissists and how they end up finding each other. I actually have a whole video on the empath and the narcissist, which you guys can watch that video as well. But, they just often feel this great deal of regret that they're never going to be able to truly experience that internal feeling of self-love. So that's number one, that they have this unspoken regret that they're never going to be able to love themselves more. So that's number one. Number two, they really do regret the underlying feeling that they have of being so insecure. They do know that internally they have this insecurity. They're constantly trying to cover it up. And obviously, all of us have insecurities. All of us have this feeling of trying to look good, avoid looking bad. Who wants to have that? I mean, we all kind of have that to a certain degree. And narcissism is, on a spectrum. But if you truly have narcissistic personality disorder, this insecurity leads them to engage in defensive, aggressive behavior, which causes them to put people down, start arguments, especially on, holidays, people's birthdays. If they feel that they're going to be threatened in some way, if they feel like they're not going to be the center of attention, all of the things that narcissists do, right? That cause them to be narcissists. And ultimately, it ends up damaging their relationships and creating unpleasant environments for everybody around them and everybody involved. And ultimately, their insecurities many times sabotage their relationships and sabotage a lot of things for them in a lot of ways that they sometimes don't even realize, because people just don't want to be around them. They do regret this deep down feeling of insecurity. They have this split thing going on because they have this true self and this false self going on constantly. And this false self is this outside personality that they've created, and the true self is the one internally that they have. So that's number two. Number three is sometimes they regret not being able to control their emotions, because depending on the level of narcissist that you're dealing with, they really don't have the ability to control their emotions. How a narcissist was formed, created, was during childhood when they were constantly exposed to trauma. Their brain was in this fight or flight mode. When all of us are in fight or flight mode, our brain emits chemicals in order to allow us to be better, stronger, or faster, so that we can run, so that we can fight, so that we can, take care of ourselves. But those chemicals caused their brains to actually have, arrested development, that limbic part of their brain. And what happens with narcissists is that part of their brain, that limbic part of their brain, was not then fully formed when they are then presented with situations where they feel that they are threatened. Then that narcissistic injury then becomes triggered, and that narcissistic rage then comes flying out. And you are dealing with somebody who is not rational and not reasonable. And they then are being controlled by their emotions and not by being a rational, reasonable adult at that point. And it can lead to outbursts of anger and hurtful words, and they say things in the heat of the moment. And this lack of emotional control can cause them to be unstable and unpredictable, which can be obviously very off-putting to others. I think that sometimes they do regret that because, again, it sabotages relationships. It can sabotage business deals for them at times. Many times we'll never regret that. They'll say, oh, that's how I wanted it. I didn't like that person. That's how it should have gone in the first place. Or that person's a loser, or whatever it is that they're going to say about it. They will oftentimes regret that that's how it ended up going down. And they'll oftentimes regret their behavior in that moment. So that is another unspoken regret of a narcissist. So, 5 unspoken regrets of narcissists. Number 3 is they regret not being able to control their emotions. Number 4 is they do regret that they can't empathize with others. And this is something that they do recognize that regular, reasonable people, normal human beings do have that ability. And, covert narcissists do develop the ability to mirror or say the right things. So if they're a true narcissist, they know that they don't actually feel it inside. And if you're with a covert narcissist for a long period of time, you inherently know that they don't actually feel it. You have that feeling in your gut that that person doesn't actually care. You can tell when somebody truly cares, or when somebody's actually just going through the motions or saying the words. A true narcissist just doesn't actually care if somebody's child died or dog got run over in the street or whatever. They don't actually care about those things, and they have to learn how to pretend to feel things for others or fit into society in that way, because they don't actually, they have to remember to say the right things or remember to care or know what it looks like to be understanding. Otherwise they know that they're not going to fit in. So they wish and have regret about the fact that they don't actually have the ability to empathize with others. It can also make them quick to anger, slow to forgive, which again can damage relationships. And, so they oftentimes don't have a lot of good relationships, a lot of friends. Many people don't hang around with them for very long because of their inability to be able to form good relationships or have closeness with others. Because obviously, if you don't truly care about people, many people aren't going to hang around with you for very long, right? So we've gotten through the first 5 unspoken regrets of narcissists. So recapping, number 1 was they regret not being able to love themselves more. Number 2 is they regret being so insecure. Number 3 was they regret not being able to control their emotions. Number 4 was they regret not being able to empathize with others. Who can guess what number 5 is? And by the way, if you agree with me so far, give me a yes in the comments. Totally agree, right? Give me a yes in the comments. You know that everything I said, I speak the truth so far, right? Ready for number 5? All right, number 5 is they regret not being able to truly connect with other people. And that's really what it's all about, because we all want to feel that true love and connection with other human beings on the planet. We all do want to be able to inherently feel that. And unfortunately, as a narcissist, it is extremely difficult for them to be able to feel that. And I know you guys are mostly empaths out there watching me, and you feel like you can save them or whatever it is that you're doing, but you're literally going to choke yourself out if you feel like you can do that, because you can't. You are going to drown trying to save them. You can't. because they can't be rehabilitated. It's sort of like, an addict or something. They have to want to save themselves and they can't. So you got to save yourself. You got to put your own oxygen mask on here first. The way that you do that is by self-care, taking care of yourself, putting boundaries on in place, right? And that is where my slay methodology starts to come into place, and I have a whole lot for you on that. So I want you to make sure to watch the next video, which is how narcissists tell on themselves, which will start to give you much more education on this. And make sure that you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, get my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet at crushmydeal.com. If you don't have access to therapy, by the way, I do have a partnership with BetterHelp. You can go to betterhelp.com/Rebecca Zung. I want you to have access to therapy. I want you to have access to the help and support and guidance that you need. And so you can go to BetterHelp and get that if you need it. We receive commissions. It doesn't cost you any extra on that if you get the help there that you need. So next video is how narcissists tell on themselves. I will see you in that video. And in the meantime, that today is a great day to start negotiating your best life. And I'll see you over there.